Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan TheOrganizer. So today is a 10-month update of a real-world durability test. So for the occasion, we have the test vehicle that's back into the shop for the testing. Essentially, in January 2021, we started this test with 20 different paint protectants applied all over the vehicle, and it's been outside in the elements ever since. This car is never kept in a garage. It always sits outside and is never washed except by me. So today is the 5th time we're washing it. So there was a maintenance wash at month number 1, number 2, number 4, number 6, and today month number 10. By the way, today we are October 28th, 2021. So we're getting close to that 10-month mark. And so the vehicle was quite dirty. As you'll see, the last time we saw this was at the 6-month mark. So hopefully on screen you can tell the level of dirt. It's been through a full winter. We washed it a few times during the winter, but now, so it's been a few months, it was quite dirty. We washed it using the same pH neutral car shampoo, namely the Adams car shampoo. So no additives inside there, no extra protection. And basically, yeah, this is only the 5th maintenance wash. So obviously you would never do that to a vehicle. I'm sure you guys, my viewers, maintain your cars a lot more often. Also note that no maintenance toppers were applied, which is also something I wouldn't recommend. But basically this is a test for entertainment purposes where we basically look for the visual indications that the product is still there or not. So basically water beading and water sheeting, or the hydrophobic properties. By the way, you're going to want to stick around till the end because I have 2 pages of notes here, because we're going to have a pretty cool discussion about my opinion on not only real world tests, but panel testing, right? Those tests done on panels. Yeah, you're going to get a mouthful, an earful, regardless of how you put it, and a lot more. So you definitely want to stick around for that conversation. We're going to dig deep into that. So I have my trusty drawings with me. Again, these are hand drawn by yours truly. By the way, any products that I put onto this vehicle, if you guys are interested in checking them out, I'll leave links in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So let's go right ahead, dig into the test. So we're going to start with the passenger side, as we always do. So I have my pressure washer ready to go. So we're going to spray each section and we're going to look at the hydrophobics. So basically water beading and water sheeting. There have been a lot of changes, by the way, as you're going to see today. 10 months is a grueling test, especially in real world conditions for any product, but you're also going to get my comments not only during the testing, but at the end again. So stay tuned for that. All right, so on the back half of the rear wing here, we have lithium ceramic slam. All right, so they claimed, I think, 6 to 8 months of expected durability. It's still there, it's still beading, it's still sheeting. Of course, you're also going to notice that some panels take more of a beating, so that's why tests like these, I always say they're for entertainment purposes, because there are some panels like the doors, especially on the lower parts, they get exposed a lot more to those elements, especially where the wheels are with all the dirt and grime, compared to easier spots like in the upper portions or on the hood, which aren't hit as much, right, by the elements. So always take everything with a grain of salt. We're doing this for fun. So it's still doing quite well. So that's a nice little surprise from Lithium. They've been producing some great products. So next we have the last coat version 2.0, 5 to 6 months durability claims. So this one too, some decent sheeting. Both have slowed down a bit compared to how they were in the first months, and that's totally normal. But I still see some water beading. The sheeting was still quite good enough. It would have been nice to see how they perform in lower parts of doors. But yeah, that's impressive for 5 to 6 months claims. By the way, I'm going to be curious to know, out of all these, in the end, which one will your favorite be, or which one was the one you have tested and have been satisfied about? Let me know in the comment section. I think it could benefit all my viewers. So next, so on this rear door here on the first half, we have Technician's Choice Ceramic Detail Spray. So this is no surprise because it was already pretty weak in earlier tests, or perhaps even almost dead. There's pooling of water, still even in the higher parts here, very slow to sheet off. There's a bit of spots that it seems to still have some sort of protection on there. So yeah, you guys give me your conclusions. It's weak, that's for sure, as far as hydrophobics are concerned, right? Because that's the only thing that we're testing here today is hydrophobic properties. Okay, so on the second part of the rear door here, we have Griot's ceramic 3-in-1 wax. So this was a good surprise, because for a quick detail spray type, it was doing quite well in the test, and I see that it's still surviving. It's pooling a bit more here in the bottom now, so that's what I was saying, where there was the biggest change in month number 10 is the water is very slow to sheet off, but that's normal in the lower parts of doors, because these are the most affected by conditions. On the top portions here, we still get a bit of water beading and fairly quick sheeting, so that was a nice surprise. Now, I've seen some places, or for some people, that it might last for over a year. It's not the case, I think. Here, it's still definitely present, but yeah, the sheeting has definitely been affected, so that's why we do real-world testing as well, compared to panels, but yeah, more on that in the end. So it's still doing okay. Griot's ceramic 3-in-1 wax, so nice surprise for that one, because the durability claims aren't like for super long months, right? Okay, so on the passenger side front door here, on the first half, we have Meguiar's hybrid ceramic wax, so the spray version, and this was applied using the dry technique application, which is supposed to give better durability or longer durability. So this one typically will give you 5 to 6 months of real-world protection. And in the top portion here, it's still doing okay. The beading isn't as tight though. These are like longitudinal type beads. And here we can see there's definitely very slow sheeting. I think the Griot's on the left was sheeting a bit quicker than this. So we can see that it has slowed down. But again, nobody would let their products go without some type of maintenance every now and then. So this is super harsh for products, but yeah, it's still there. Slickness, again, still also present. So we move on to the front part of the front door. This is the Turtle Wax Graphene Flex Wax, so another spray product. So this, after month number 6, had started to show a bit of weakness in the lower parts, but as we can tell, nice round water beads, not as round as they were in the beginning, and the water is slower to pool or to sheet off towards the bottom, but we're still getting a decent rate of sheeting. So this is still very good. The slickness is definitely still there. So this is one of the more durable ones in the test. They do have a claim of up to 12 months of protection. It's been roughly 10 months now, and as we can tell, well, there is still some beading. The protection is still there. The panel is almost dry now, so the sheeting is also quicker than a few others. But however, we do see right in the lower parts that it's still slower to sheet off. So that's the wear and tear. But the beauty of these products, like the Flex Wax or the Hybrid Spray Wax, Ceramic Wax by Meguiar's, is that maintenance is super easy. If you want to top it off every now and then, you spray it on, you rinse it off, and that's it. So in what, 1 or 2 minutes, you can do your entire vehicle and you have more protection. Why wouldn't you do it? Okay, so now for the front fender, on the first half, we have Adams Graphene Ceramic Spray Coating, so the spray version. So very good beading here, very quick. The sheeting has slowed down in the lower part for this one as well. Claims for up to 12 months of durability for this as well. So, so far so good. This is also still very present. Beading is not as round and tight, right, for pretty much all of these as it was in the first months, but we're still getting that. So visually, I think we can tell that the protection is still there. On the front part of the fender and this lower part of the bumper here, we have 303 Graphene Nano Spray Coating. So very good performance here. The beads aren't as round as the beginning, but they're still there. The water was very quick to sheet off, including in the lower part of the bumper here. So although this is not a door, it's not a fair comparison to the others, but the protection is definitely still there. The gloss is there, and yeah, it's still beading. So visually, I think we still have the hydrophobic properties. All right, let's move on to the front part now. So the hood, we have the ceramic coatings. So coatings that are in glass bottles. So the reason why I put those, by the way, too, on the hood is we already know that ceramic coatings in glass bottles have a tendency to last a lot longer than spray products. So regardless of where they were, they would still last a long time. So yeah. Okay, so on the, we can still see the tape lines, by the way, so that's nice. It's a nice visual indicator to separate them. So on the first part, we split the hood in four. We have Adams graphene ceramic coating, so they're full-blown ceramic coating in a glass bottle. That's graphene infused. So very quick water sheeting, very nice round and tight water beads. I don't see a difference compared to the first month, so that leads me to believe that it's still intact and that the hydrophobics are still going super strong. So that's good to see. These are technically products that are supposed to last for many years. The second portion of the hood, this is CarPro Sequartz UK 3.0. So very, very quick sheeting and super tight round water beads. I think these are some of the tightest we've seen. So CarPro are known for their quality coatings. Obviously, like all of these manufacturers, by the way, on the hood, they all produce some good products, but yeah, still going super strong. Next, the third part here, we have Ethos Graphene Matrix Coating. So another one in a glass bottle. So here too, very quick sheeting, very nice, tight and round water beads. So the hydrophobics are still intact. Again, I don't really see a difference compared to the previous months. So it's still going super strong. Very good to see. Okay, the fourth on the hood is G-Technic Crystal Serum Light, so CSL. So I think for this one, it's still going strong, but as we can tell, there is a bit more pooling, so the sheeting takes a bit longer, although it's still very quick. The beads aren't as round as some of the other ceramic coatings, but it's still going strong. This one here, typically you'll apply a topper on top, like their Exo V4. So one layer of CSL, 2 layers of Exo V4, but I mean, it's still going strong, so no issues there as well. All right, next design template, my AutoCAD designs, right guys? So let me bring my pressure washer cord here closer to me. So on the first portion here of the front fender and bumper, we have Geon Can Coat, so a spray-on coating light. Again, this isn't even a ceramic coating in a glass bottle, and look how quickly the water sheeted off. The beading is still there, definitely. Perhaps not as round or as tight as the first months, but definitely still water beading. It's performing admirably well, so very, very good. More and more now we're getting light forms of ceramic coatings that are performing extremely well. Case in point, this next portion here of that front fender is Tax System Moonlight. So very quick water sheeting, a little bit of pooling towards the bottom here. Would have been nice to see on the door how it performs. So it has slowed down a little bit, but definitely still the hydrophobics are there. The slickness is still there as well. So nice beading, nice sheeting. Okay, we move on to this. I'm going to do it quickly for the first part of the front door because I've addressed this topic many times in the previous real-world durability test updates. We have Geon Mose. So this calls for 2 coats. It's the only ceramic coating in this test that requires 2 coats, guys. So it's not they recommend 2 coats. This is a 2 coats or 2 layers of the ceramic coating, absolutely necessary. So to keep things equal between coatings, we only applied 1 layer, hence why it's not performing as we think, because when you do apply the 2 coats, you get the 18 to 24 months of protection, no problem. So that again shows you always follow the instructions. So it's hanging on a little bit, but we can tell there's little to no beading and very, very slow sheeting. But again, you have to follow the instructions. If you apply 2 coats, it's doing exceptionally well. We can tell Geon has great stuff because their can coat up front is still doing well. So you're gonna get even more durability out of this, but you need to apply 2 coats. Okay, so on the second half here of the front driver's side door, we have the OP Care ceramic coating. So this is a professional grade ceramic coating, still getting some beading. The sheeting is fairly quick, even on the lower parts here. Ooh, we can tell that's going to dissipate. So it's holding on. By the way, I'm not an authorized installer of OP Care, so you got to take this with a grain of salt. Every time you see professional grade ceramic coating, so those that need certification or to be a certified installer, and if you're not, well, take those with a grain of salt because the people who install and apply those who are certified and authorized, well, they have specific training and they have a lot more experience with that product. So again, more on that later in the video. I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss that conversation. Okay, next. On this rear driver's side door, on the first half, we have the PNS Inspiration ceramic coating. All right, so not the coating that gives you the most beading or the quickest sheeting, but it's definitely still there. It's sliding off, and here on the lower portions now, we are about dry. So a bit slower compared to the higher performing ones, but this is 18 plus months, I think, of durability claims. So I have no reason to doubt that it could do that, especially with proper maintenance. Again, nobody would do these kinds of tests without applying some sort of maintenance. 5 washes in the span of 10 months, that's really not taking care of your vehicle. The owner doesn't wash the vehicle specifically for these tests. I take care of it. And yeah, it's been hard, by the way. I hope you enjoy these videos too, because it's very hard to organize, to have the vehicle driven, especially in COVID times. People have busy lives, busy schedules. The owner has a few kids, even has a dog that completely scratched up this door here, as you're going to tell. That's another factor that can influence results, right? So on the second half here of that rear door, we have glassparency graphene coating, so in a glass bottle. So absolutely no issues here, and boom, that sheeting is done. Very nice and tight, round water beads, and very, very good hydrophobic properties still. So this should go on for many, many years in these conditions, no problem. Especially imagine if you do some maintenance, wow. So this one is performing exceptionally well as well. Okay, so on the rear quarter panel here, on the first half, we have the NV Care Nova Series ceramic coating. We can still see these tape lines, I love that. Okay, so it's still there, still going strong, I think. You can tell now the pooling is done. So it's definitely more a water sheeting coating compared to water beading. I don't think there's a good or bad answer. I think if you live in an area that has water spotting issues, or if you have hard water problems where you live, you might want to look into a coating like this that is more of a sheeting coating, compared to having more beads on the surface. But I mean, yeah, it's still present. Last but not least, on the last portion of the rear quarter, we have PNS Bead Maker. So this is a paint sealant in spray form. This failed after the first month because the durability, well, that's not one of its strong points, right? That's why we use it as a control. You're gonna see there's nothing left. So as expected, very, very slow sheeting, the slowest of all the bunch. It's like there's no protection. Well, there is no protection left. No water beading, at least none apparent. And look at this, even on the top portions, very, very slow to sheet off. So it behaves pretty much like something where there was nothing on there. Which leads me to the initial part of the conversation that we're gonna have. A lot of people love PNS Bead Maker, but for good reasons, right? Because I've heard some negative comments of, well, you recommended Bead Maker and it's bad, or some people who are disappointed because it doesn't last long. Nobody ever stated, at least not to my opinion, that this thing lasts for like 2+ years. It's a standalone spray sealant, nothing special about it as far as durability goes, and the company never claims that it lasts for years. So what you use that for is a maintenance topper over any existing wax, sealant, or ceramic coating. It's going to increase the gloss visually, make it pop even more, and give you that slickness that for me is undeniable. Now, some viewers have reported that sometimes they have dusting issues with it, but there have been other products since. I've never had dusting problems where I live. I don't have those issues. However, if you do have dusting issues, there are other available stuff out there that you can look into, including products that I've reviewed on my channel. But I find it funny that because Bead Maker won't last as long, that it's not a good product. It depends what you're using it for. So I like to use it as a drying aid for lubrication, added gloss, added slickness. I already have a crazy ceramic coating installed on my car. So what I'm looking for is a product that's easy to use, that will give that nice pop and shine. And that's where that product fits in. So you got to readjust your expectations, right? Now, let's get into that conversation. All right, now for a part you've probably been waiting for, the moment where I share my thoughts and opinions on a few topics. I have 2 pages worth of notes here because there's just so much, so bear with me. It's going to be an interesting one. Recently, there have been some viewers who came from a smaller channel, who were watching a smaller channel, should I say, that was doing some panel testing. Now, I'm going to keep this as positive as I can. Viewers who follow me know that I'm a positive person. I don't like to dive into negativity, but there are some people, unfortunately, in this world who have this tendency to want to spew their negativity online or try and create drama where there's drama that's uncalled for or unneeded. So I'm going to talk about a few things today and give you food for thought, and you guys can make some decisions on what you're watching, or at least be more aware of what's going on. So yeah, people started realizing basically they were new subscribers to my channel, which I welcome, by the way, all the time. So thank you guys for watching, even newcomers to the channel. This is a great community based on positivity where we share our passion and knowledge on everything detailing related. So a few of those viewers from that other panel testing channel have recently started saying, either through messages, emails, all sorts of stuff, that they were disappointed because they weren't getting the results that that panel tester, let's just call it that panel tester, was getting from their tests. So that led me to think, that's something that I need to address to my viewers. So I'm going to go through a few points and again, give you some insight on how things work. For people who have been following me for a while, you know through my life story that I do have a background in biochemistry and molecular biology, so studies and sciences, and I think that gives me a different outlook on things in the car detailing world because the majority of things in that world is, well, based on chemicals. So there are some things that I like to explain so that you guys can have more knowledge. Okay, so the goal of a panel tester is to supposedly find the best products, but there's some things that they're not mentioning that I wish they would, because that changes the entire game. First of all, it should be only for entertainment purposes, even if you're doing real world tests like I am on vehicles that are driven outside in real world conditions. This is still something that should be taken with a grain of salt because there are many factors, and we'll get into those. So this should be for entertainment purposes only. If you make your viewers believe that this is the end all be all, there's some issues because some people are going to be disappointed if they're not getting the same results. And it's normal they're not getting the same results for reasons you're going to see soon. So panel testing, it does not provide the data from real world applications. So things that you'd get if you drove your vehicle in the elements. So by doing panel testing, especially if your panel sits, I don't know, behind a shed or behind a garage all day, and that's all that it's doing and not driving on the roads, well, you're not getting the bug guts. You're not getting any tree sap, any bird droppings. By the way, bug guts and tree sap and bird droppings, the majority of those are acidic in nature. So imagine what they can do left unattended on a clear coat. You're not getting any traffic film on panel test. You're not getting road grime that accumulates because the road grime and traffic film, eventually it clogs the protection. So even here on the lower panels where you see some of the products were sheeting a bit slower, well, that's not necessarily because the product is dead. The protection might still be there. However, if the pores of the products are clogged by that oily substance or that traffic film because of regular driving outside, well, you're not going to get the same hydrophobic properties. So you'd need to do some sort of decontamination or decon wash or some way to remove that traffic film to expose what's under. And just a pH neutral car shampoo sometimes isn't enough. It's okay for regular maintenance. However, that buildup eventually needs to be taken away. You're not exposing the vehicle if you're only doing panel testing. Those panels aren't exposed to the elements all the time, especially not in different climates. For example, if you're somewhere where there's never big snow or road salt, you're never going to know if you live in that type of environment what the product will behave like. Again, different climates, different things. Is it a more humid climate? Is it a hotter climate? Is it a colder climate? Are you exposed to winter months with road salt and hail and grail and all that kind of stuff? Those are different variants. Also, a panel won't be as exposed compared to a daily driven vehicle like dust and dirt and brake dust as well from your brake discs. Imagine that. So as you're driving and you're braking, all that brake dust gets caked into the clear coat and you're visually getting not only, well, those iron deposits that rust with oxygen and water and all that kind of stuff, but it will eventually clog up the pores as well of the product that you're using or break it down. So you have to do some type of maintenance against that. Also, you're not getting acid rain, depending again on where you live. So basically I can go on for days of things that you're missing out on if you're only testing things on panels. Now, if you only do, again, testing on panels, well, it's going to tell you what exactly. It's only going to tell you how that specific product performs on a panel that sits behind that garage or shed or wherever it's at, or even if it's in a garage that sits there all the time, not being exposed to real world conditions and daily driven. So, and also the only thing that it addresses is one of the elements, and that is hydrophobic properties. That's the only thing that panel testers look for is the water behavior, so the water beading and the water sheeting. You don't know if there's still UV protection, if there's any other type of slickness. Are you looking for other factors? Because if you're making a purchase decision, you cannot base yourself exclusively on durability or even worse, only hydrophobic properties because you're missing out on the entire picture. So you should also be looking to make a proper purchase decision on things like price. Are you getting any value out of the product? The ease of application. We cannot let that go. Is it a good user experience? Some products might last a long time, but if they're tedious to apply, if it takes you hours, tons of prep and is super complicated, well, for some it's worth it, for some it's not. So it's up to you to decide. Are we looking at gloss? Is there a visual increase in the perception of gloss? Gloss is not only measured, by the way, by a gloss measuring device, because many protection products out there actually diminish gloss as far as a pure numbers value is concerned when you're putting a reader on it, because there's many things involved there, and scientists out there can agree to what I say. But gloss is also a visual appearance. Does it enhance? Does it give that jetting, that darkening effect? Does it give that candy appearance? So that candy-like gloss and pop that you like. Sometimes meters don't tell you that, but your eyes do. So it's very subjective. Slickness. Does it give you slickness? Is it still there? I know a lot of you guys, myself included, we love to feel that slick paint, right? Resistance to chemicals. Does it resist multiple washes? Does it resist wheel cleaners or tire cleaners or iron removers, tar removers, or chemicals that you might use to do some decon on your paint? Does it resist that? You have to count that in. What about expected durability claims? So does it live close to the expectations? You're never going to get close to the real world if you're doing real world testing compared to what they give you as far as durability claims are concerned, because those typically, the way they do those tests are in a controlled lab environment. So those are in perfect conditions, perfect applications with no other variables. What is the maximum you can expect? So if you're getting anything near that, you should be happy. Performance in a climate similar to yours. Now, if you're only watching panel testing from a specific person in a specific location, in a specific country, can I be more specific? What you're getting is just a snapshot of hydrophobic properties in that specific place and time on that specific panel, not in real world testing. So that maybe does not match with the environment you live in. So I highly encourage you to watch videos from different sources, different people, see if there's any people near you that have some feedback on a paint protection item that they've been testing. It could be a friend, a neighbor, somebody on a forum, on a Facebook group, but basically rely on people that have experience near you. Also, do you like the brand and what they stand for? Sometimes a product decision is if the brand has always steered you in the right direction, if they gave you good customer service. Sometimes maybe you weren't happy with a product, they refunded you or guided you through and helped you troubleshoot your issues and you're satisfied. Well, why not give them your business, right? So there, as you can see, and I could go again on for days and days on this topic, but there are many factors to choose a paint protection product, and not only hydrophobics decide which is the best one out there. I find that laughable if somebody tells you that. Depending on the environment, so we know that that plays a big role. Any test not done in a lab or in a controlled environment should only be considered for entertainment purposes. And this is from myself, a person who has studied in science. I can tell you that. So if it's done in a controlled environment, in a controlled scenario, that's the only time that these tests can be valid. As soon as you introduce human error and other environmental factors and other conditions that I'm going to dive into further in this video, well, it should only be for entertainment purposes. You cannot take that as cash and bring that to the bank and say, I'm going to get the same exact results as that person and I should be happy. Because again, if you're disappointed because you're not getting the results, well, imagine the impact on that brand, right? You should look at your own testing, purchasing your own stuff, and drawing your own conclusions based on research that you have done. Watch multiple sources. There's not just one source out there that will give you the real deal. Anytime somebody starts a video by saying, you should believe only me, I'm unbiased, I'm the only one that does this right, I cannot be bought, and all that kind of stuff, for me, that raises a red flag because there's other things that they're not telling you. Okay, so a person can't guarantee how long a product will last for you in your conditions. I don't care who they are. If they promise you how long a product can last, they've done something wrong. So I was reminded recently by a senior vice president of one pretty big car detailing brand, actually from a few brands who also claim the same thing, that a brand should own up to its own durability claims. So it's not up to YouTubers, myself, or any other channel included to come up with durability claims. No, it's up to brands to live up to their own claims. They have legal departments, they have established businesses, they make income, and their business is to sell products to consumers. So let them to live up to the expectations. And furthermore, if a company truly owns up to that, they should be able to help you troubleshoot if you're not getting the claims that they're putting on that label or on their website, right? So if they're a good brand, they're going to help you go through it. And I think that's a sign of a company that's positive and cares about its users, is that, well, it can be sometimes, for many other reasons that I'm going to say here, that a product might not last as long as a person initially thought, and that company can help you troubleshoot. And often it comes down to user error or sometimes mistakes as far as batches and chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So let me get into the segue of many factors influence the durability of a product. And again, I could go on for days, but I'm going to list a few of the most common ones. First of all, the application, human error. We're human, myself included. We've done mistakes in the past. There's sometimes things that we forgot to do while applying something. We didn't read the instructions, or we thought outside the box and went a bit too far in the thinking outside the box method and using our own techniques without following the company's instructions. Case in point, by the way, the Geon Mows here. If you do apply 2 coats, you're going to get that durability. I decided for fun, entertaining purposes to keep everything similar for this test and only apply 1 coat of each product. And there's a reason why it isn't performing as expected. It's because we didn't follow the instructions. So I include myself in that. Preparation before application. What kind of prep did you do to the paint? Did you do any washing, proper washing? Any decontamination? We're talking iron removers, tar removers, clay bars. Did you polish the paint as well to remove any oxidation, swirls, scratches, anything that can impact potential results? Basically prepping the surface properly. Did you use an IPA spray or a paint prep to remove polishing oils in order for the product to properly bond or adhere to the surface? That is key, especially for ceramic coatings and graphene coatings, and so on and so forth. So the preparation is key. For the application, what kind of application conditions were you in? Were you applying in direct sunlight on super hot panels? Were you in a too humid environment? Were you in a controlled environment like me, where at least I can control the temperature and humidity to a T? I always work in 20 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit temperatures, and I have typically 45% humidity, 40 to 45%, because I have a dehumidifier. I have a heat pump that heats and cools my garage year long. So that can greatly influence the durability of a product. In the case of a professional grade coating, now what is a professional grade versus a consumer grade? Consumer grade are products that you guys can purchase off the shelf in our car part store or order online. And a professional grade coating, well, is a coating sold only to authorized or accredited or certified installers who are professional detailers. So in the case of a professional grade coating, are you a certified installer? If you are not, you should disclose that to your audience, and the test should be taken with a grain of salt, because you can't discredit people, professional detailers that have been through the whole certification process, who are authorized installers and who have way more experience than you to install those. Case in point, I know a lot of professional installers of some coatings have seen such videos where people don't apply the coatings correctly. They get defensive. Well, I'm a professional detailer, I should be able to apply it anyways, and that kind of stuff, and get into fights with the brands and companies because obviously they can be wrong, right? Well, that's a load of BS. If you're a certified installer, you have definitely more experience. You've been through proper channels, proper trainings. So we should encourage that. If you're applying a pro grade coating, only see a pro authorized installer for the coating you're looking into. You're definitely going to get the best bang for buck. And also they have warranties, more on that later. But if you are unsatisfied and not getting close to the durability claims, if you're paying for a $1,500 coating, there's a service that comes with that, and the company should own up to it, and the authorized installer should make it right for you. Next, another factor that influences the durability of a product, the condition of the clear coat. That is rarely stated in videos, and I'm gonna keep on knocking on the head of this one because it's an important one. The clear coat on a new vehicle that is intact and factory fresh, you get those UV inhibitors that typically are in the top portion of the clear coat, and this comes from people in the industry who explain to me how the paints work, especially like people like David Gadusi. So Dr. David Gadusi, should I say, the owner of Opticoat. He created the modern day clear coat. He worked with a lot of paint brands to develop the clear coat, the modern clear coat, should I say, in I think the 80s and early 90s. So there are a lot of chemists out there that know how that works. So a fresh clear coat is obviously going to be more durable in time and be more prone to accept or bond to a paint protectant compared to an old panel that you found in a junkyard that probably has diminished clear coat, that has seen its time in the elements as well. And if you completely like super polished a lot of compounds and do it again and again, you're diminishing that. So, well, you got to think about how good is the clear coat on that paint. Also, not all paint and clear coats are made the same. So we know there are soft paints, there are hard paints, different manufacturers, even in the same manufacturer sometimes have differences in paints depending on the batches, where they got their supply of clear coat from. Is it a high-end manufacturer or lower-end manufacturer? There are way too many variables out there. Also, potentially a bad batch for a specific product. Now, even the best companies out there can probably attest to this if you're out there watching my videos. So you've probably had a bad batch. There's something in chemistry that you can control, and sometimes, well, the ingredients that you mix up, there's variables in there as well, especially if there are humans behind that, or even machines sometimes. There can be things that throw them off, like too much humidity, was there some sort of a failure in the equipment, so on and so forth. So there's a reason why they put lots or batch numbers onto these bottles. There can be defective units sometimes, and that they're going to replace if they can follow up on that. So also, how were the chemicals stored? If they're frozen, finito, end of story. The majority of chemicals should be kept at room temperature, or at least never frozen, because you're killing the active ingredients if you're freezing and thawing them, especially in multiple cycles. And also, where are they stored? If also you've kept them for over a year, they might not be good anymore. The majority of chemicals, if they're kept in stable conditions, as far as detailing is concerned, 1 to 2 years on your shelves max. If you're testing a product that you've had for 8 years on your shelves, well, don't expect that same durability. So what else? What type of maintenance was done? That's a big one, guys. So on this test vehicle here, only 5 maintenance washes were done in almost 10 months. I don't know for you, but if you're watching my videos, obviously you're some lovers of car detailing, or at least you're enthusiasts, passionate DIYers, weekend warriors, or even detailing professionals. You have an attachment or some love for detailing. So you're going to be doing some regular maintenance. I personally wash my own car twice weekly, and often I'll apply some sort of a topper, even though I have a top-notch graphene ceramic coating on my vehicle right now on my Porsche. I still will apply some sort of a topper every now and then because you want to boost the performance. You want to maintain that. Also every now and then, probably an iron remover, tar remover to help decontaminate that road film, traffic film, or brake dust that might be on your paint. Basically, you're doing maintenance. Now, this vehicle, all that was used for it is a pH neutral car shampoo 5 times. That's nowhere near the proper amount of maintenance. And by maintenance also, you should be applying a topper or that product if it only costs you 10 to 15 bucks and it's in spray form and it takes 5 minutes to apply. Many of them now are spray on, rinse off. Why would you not apply that? I don't get it. If you see the hydrophobic properties diminishing, just take 2 minutes of your time once you're done washing your vehicle, or 5 or 10 minutes, regardless of what it is. Spray on protection today is super quick to apply, and reapply, and you're good to go. End of story. So the point is moot actually on long-term durability, because it should last for as long as you're maintaining that protection. Also, there's even minor topics like towel drying versus blow drying. I know my buddy Kyle from Wax Mode that does interesting product testing has dug into this topic before, and he noticed that if you're drying with a microfiber drying towel, that mechanical mini abrasion that you're doing is actually helping to remove some of that traffic film sometimes, and that'll give a different result compared to just blow drying, which might leave a bit of that soapy residue on there, because some soaps do leave some sort of a film behind that can mask hydrophobic properties. So it also depends on what shampoo you're using. Also, what conditions are you in when you're testing? Are you testing outside in the baking hot sun on a baking hot panel? Of course, that's going to influence your results, right? Compared to if you're testing like me in a controlled environment, in the shade, in a heated and cooled garage at optimal temperatures and humidity. Those are all factors that are going to influence. So regardless if you're real world testing or panel testing, there's always going to be factors that influence results. Do not rely solely on one source. Do your research, guys. Go around, look what's out there. So if you also, a big thing that I find comical, if you wait for results for a specific product before making a purchase decision, well, the technology will likely have advanced so far since then that newer and better products have potentially already been released. So imagine you're waiting, 3 years to see if a product will live to its durability claim. By that time, we're probably going to be with some sort of other unicorn magic powder infused into protection that'll make it last 10, 15 years, be permanent on the paint, who knows? But things evolve, guys. So go out there, just buy a product, enjoy using it. If it's not for you, move on to something else. I think one of the rare times we're truly, we should be really mad about something is if we're spending upwards of $1,000 on a professionally applied, something that you pay a professional to do, from a certified place. Well, there's warranties for that, and you should go ahead and make sure you get the full performance for the money that you're paying. So again, if you do select a product based on a one single test, you might be missing out on something that would work great for you. Do your research, get opinions once again from different sources, and then go do your own testing to find what works best for you. So a product might fail for someone, but it might work for you. Imagine if you missed out on that and you'd be super happy using it. Or the opposite also applies. A product might work for me, but it might not work for you. So even though, well, I'm happy with a product, if it doesn't work for you, well, it just doesn't work for you. You'll have to move on to something else, right? You're not going to be stubborn and keep on wanting that product to work. So another topic. Country of origin. I find that super funny that some people are focusing on where the product is made. That should have no matter. The products can be made in USA, Canada, South Korea, Germany, Japan, China, Australia, Singapore, anywhere around the world for all I care. I don't care where they're made. What I care about is product performance. Am I getting value for money? Am I getting something specific that I'm looking for, attributes that the product gives me? Take China, for example. Many products are made in China, including my own brand new iPhone 13 Pro Max, my iMac, a lot of electronics that you're using on a daily, I'm sure if you look at your phone, it's probably made in China. auto parts, you name it, even microfiber towels that you're using are most likely made in South Korea or China. And should it really matter? No, that doesn't mean that it's bad because it's coming from overseas. What should matter, again, is the brand, the product, what they stand up for. Have they been good for you? There are some products that are made overseas that are very good. There are products that are made in my own country that are pure garbage. So it doesn't really matter where they come from. It should matter how they perform to you. Next, let's talk a bit about bias. This is a new fashion word that maybe one person likes to spread there online. If you're an installer for a product that you sell at your shop, you are biased. So those tests should be taken with a grain of salt, and I wish some people would be more clear about their affiliation with a direct brand, as I am. When I do sponsored content, I tell you, as per YouTube regulations, you get that notice at the beginning of the video. It's mentioned in the video. It's also mentioned in the description. I give you guys all sorts of ways to know that a video is sponsored if somebody paid for the content. So you guys are aware and you can make a better decision if you want to either watch or not watch the video. I still only do videos about products that I enjoy, that I use, and for brands that I believe in. That's the way I function. But if you are a certified installer and you're doing testing, you should disclose that to your audience in every video so they know what to expect. Because, well, do you honestly think that person who sells those products to their own customers would make that company look bad? Imagine what they would look like in their eyes and their customers. Their customers would be like, I'm paying for this? You're an installer of this product and it's garbage? I don't want to give you my time or money ever again. So take that with a grain of salt. Again, affiliations should be noted and properly disclosed and taken with a grain of salt. Only state facts. Do not put your emotions or feelings about a product, a brand, or where it's made. That is where you lose your audience, or you're not going to grow your channel very quickly if you do that. If you have some sort of emotion involvement in there, that's not good. If it's positive because you like a brand, that's fine. We're all about it. But if you come up with a preconceived notion that this company is bad and that that country is bad when it produces products, well, how unbiased or objective can you truly be in such tests? You removed all the objectivity as soon as you input your emotion and thoughts into it. So again, it should be only for entertainment purposes. If you say that it's for entertainment purposes, I'm fine with that. Next, now, if we're talking about biases again, because I'm not like unaware, especially my viewers, you guys, sometimes you feed me a bit of info to keep me up to date on some things. So maybe one person will state that, Pan, sometimes he gets paid for a sponsored video, and so that means he's biased. And okay, well then explain to me this. I'll take examples with this car actually. Ethos, Griot's Garage, CarPro, 3 companies that we have products on this test vehicle. They've been doing very good in these tests. Those 3 companies have never spent a single dollar in a sponsored video on my channel. Now, shouldn't their products be performing badly if I go according to what 1 or 2 people are thinking out there? Food for thought. Now, on the reverse also, if I'm looking at a company like PNS, PNS has sponsored a few videos on my channel before. So I mentioned that Beanmaker did horribly as far as durability is concerned. It's doing great for gloss, slickness, and other things that I love it for. But shouldn't I have made it or hopefully done something that this product will last forever on the paint and that it still survive? Why did it die after only a month? Because durability is not its strong suit. And PNS themselves don't hide from this. They're super transparent. So if they sponsored a channel before, a video on my channel before, and I disclose that to my audience as well, by the way, as I always do, well, you would think that the product would do a lot better than it did, no? So if you're talking, again, that I'm biased, I call BS, because what I do is I clearly state if a video is sponsored or not, and still it will not affect the video because I only do videos about products that I love, brands that I enjoy, and it's natural after a certain point when you reach a certain size of audience, like this channel, by the way, is the biggest detailing channel about car reviews and about product reviews and tutorials out there. So I think I'm in the top 4 detailing channels in the world as far as audience size goes, but the other channels now mainly focus on dirty car cleaning. So that's the new thing, but I'm not going to get into that. But as far as product reviews and actual tutorials, I'm either the biggest or the second biggest, regardless as you want to see it, a pretty big channel out there at almost 700,000 subscribers and 80 million views at the moment of this video. And you guys enjoy this for a reason. I share my knowledge and passion. 24 years that I've been enjoying this passion and sharing my knowledge with you guys. And I think that's what transpires most in the videos. And that's why I think you're here watching these videos. Now, of course, the bigger you get, you're going to get some opportunities from brands who want to partner up with you, help support your channel, give back, and well, the audience has a chance to get exposed sometimes to brands they weren't aware of and discover new products, sometimes get deals as well, thanks to my videos on products and that kind of stuff. As long as you're aware if a video is sponsored or not, you make the decision if you want to watch it, and ultimately, you're making the buying decision. You're in the captain's chair when you're selecting something. And again, don't just take my opinion for it. Watch other reviewers out there, watch other videos, go online and see what's out there, do testing for yourself and make up your own mind. So the general conclusions, are there some that you can actually make on products? Well, yes, if we stay very general. So for example, spray-on protection as far as ceramics and graphene are concerned will typically last 3 to 10 plus months. So that's a general guideline. True ceramic coatings or graphene coatings, by that we mean the ones in glass bottles, those typically have a longer durability, so the consumer grade versions should get you 1 to 2 years, should be easier to apply than pro grade coatings and give you a decent result, good chemical resistance, good UV protection, gloss and slickness, and self-cleaning properties, making your car easier to maintain, so on and so forth. And professional grade coatings, so the ones that are applied by authorized installers that are professional grade that you're paying a big price for, should last upwards of 3+ years, again, depending on which coating brand you're looking at or which specific product. Some can go up to 6, 7+ years. So if it's applied by the certified installer. So those are the general things to look at. But the expectations, guys, that's my next topic. The performance of a $9 a bottle spray-on product that takes only 5 to 10 minutes to apply, that is super easy to apply, that will give you tons of value, and that you have a huge bottle of, well, you can have the same durability expectations as a pro-grade coating that you would be paying upwards of $1,500 for. So I think we got to readjust the expectations based on what we're purchasing. So a $9 bottle or even a $25 or $50 bottle is considered inexpensive in the grand scheme of things, right? If we compare it to a $1,500 pro-grade coating, certainly it is by a huge margin. So if there are all those factors that apply, if you're doing something yourself, well, you're also purchasing it at a lesser price, so you should readjust your expectations. And again, they're so easy to apply. If you see the performance starting to diminish after a few months, well, just wash your car and reapply a fresh layer and you're good to go. I don't know anyone, at least of my viewers, because you guys are some awesome viewers and you're passionate about detailing, and I know you don't let your car sit there for a year without doing anything to it. You wouldn't be watching my videos. You wouldn't even know that I exist. So you do some type of maintenance and you're going to do some type of work. And that's what I think is key, is you're going to enjoy doing the process. So reapply if need be. Who cares if it lasts only 6 months and it doesn't last 8 months like the manufacturer claimed? Those are only in optimal conditions, those claims that they have on the labels. If you reach that, good. Sometimes you'll surpass even the claims. Well, that's even better, fantastic. And you want to give that company more of your money for other products that they come up with. That's what it's all about. Do your testing and enjoy using products that you do. Now, where you're allowed, I think, to have very high expectations, once again, is when you're paying top dollar, $1,500, $1,000, $800 for a pro-grade coating installed by an authorized installer. It comes with some sort of a warranty. It should come with a warranty. So if there's anything wrong, bring it back to the dealer or the installer or the detailer and have him look into it. They should be able to help you troubleshoot through it or do a warranty claim, or who knows what goes on with the brand that you're picking, but they have to give you service. That's what you're paying for, the knowledge. So all that time, education, and experience that that detailer has, the quality of the product that they're applying, the time spent working on your vehicle to perfect it, to prep it, and to remove any guesswork or human error as much as possible because they have experience applying their coatings. That's what you're paying for. So your expectations naturally should be a lot higher. Now, do I agree it's disappointing spending your hard-earned money on a cheap product that disappoints you? Absolutely. Well, then it's up to you to not give money to that brand anymore and to move on to another. Before I started my own channel, guys, so I started detailing in the mid-90s, and back then I had none of this. So no chance to be close to a brand or no chance to test thousands of products like I do every year now. So back then I would spend my hard-earned money as a teenager when I first started cleaning cars at 16 years old. And sometimes I'd be disappointed. Back then we had products that barely lasted a few weeks on the paint. Forget the technology that we have today. And so it was my hard-earned money, and I would be a little mad, but you know what? Either I'd cross that brand off my list, never look at them again, or I'd move on to something else until I found something that I really enjoyed and I really loved using. And that's, I think, one pride and joy that I still have today, and I know many of you guys share the thoughts, is ordering something, receiving the box, opening it up, and going out there and to test it for the first time and see if it lives up to its claims or if it's going to give something that you were looking for. Is it more gloss? Is it slickness? Is it durability? Is it chemical resistance? Regardless what you're looking for, what criteria is good for you, there's always a product that's out there for your pockets, your hard-earned money, and you should do your research and not just follow one person's advice. In the end, so the purpose of my videos, if I come back to me now, hopefully you enjoyed this little opinion that I had on the topic. Well, the purpose of my videos is to share my passion, my experience, my knowledge, and help you guys appreciate car detailing for what it is, a soothing and relaxing experience, and basically maintain or keep your vehicle looking better for longer and increasing value in your investment. Because this, by the way, I shouldn't say investment because it's one of the biggest expenses you'll have in your life. It's the second biggest expense after a house, usually for a person. But it's our pride and joy, right? We want our vehicles to look awesome at the end of the day. And hopefully I can transmit through my videos not only my passion. I know many of you have had the detailing bug thanks to my videos, and I have each and every one of you to thank for that. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, so share that detailing bug, and hopefully you learn a thing or two when watching my videos, and hopefully I keep with this positivity theme on my channel going, and that you enjoy the videos. If you do, by the way, smash that thumbs up button. You always got to show me your support. Drop a comment in the comment section for your support as well. And ultimately, guys, you have the buying power. And when I'm saying you, it's each and every one of you. By the way, quick stat, on October 25th, 2020, I was just reaching 540,000 subscribers, so over that 500,000 subscriber mark. That was awesome, all thanks to you. But here we are just a year later, October 28th, that's today, 2021, at over 682,000 subscribers at the moment of this recording. That's a bump of 142,000 subscribers in the past year. We're getting close to that 700,000 subscriber mark. I mean, mind blown. Why is that? Well, that's because of you. The community we have built around this channel are people who love detailing, who love digging in deep into, well, learning more stuff, learning tutorials, finding out new products, new brands. We have these great discussions as well. And I think, well, my passion hopefully goes through that screen and you can share that with your friends and family as well. Spread the love for detailing. That's what I'm about. Forget the toxicity. Forget individuals who are trying to spread negativity, to bash on others, to point fingers at others or brands or YouTubers or that kind of stuff. We should all band together and hopefully give back to the community. And by the way, giving back to the community, I know you guys are waiting for the video where I have some professional detailers coming onto the channel, giving tips and tricks to you guys. So these are people that I'm giving my platform to help them not only grow their business, but I wanted them to give back to the community. So they'll be giving you some pro tips, tricks, and hacks. So that's coming soon. If you haven't subscribed so yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like and share this video, do all that good stuff, and keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.